What's up, everybody? It's David from DTRH, and this is Down the Rabbit Hole Live. How are y'all doing today? My sister Amanda can't make it today. She is, what she told me was talking to what did she say? Something about a counselor. No, a college something for my nephew Max. So that's where she's at. I hope she's doing okay. Things have been kind of crazy this week. But today I do have a guest showing up here in a minute. Let's see. Let me see where she's at. All right. We're going to be talking about the many worlds interpretation today. Have you guys ever heard of that? It's very interesting. It also leads into multiverse theory, and I'm fascinated with that stuff. So I'm going to play a video to explain multiverse theory and the many world interpretation. So let's go ahead and key it up.
From a physics point of view, parallel universes are one of those imaginative and compelling theories that's very difficult to test, if not impossible. However, the idea of many worlds began in 1926, and the very philosophy of science have some problems that could be solved if a multiverse existed.
Well, there you go. It's Erwin Schrödinger is the same guy who developed the whole theory about Schrödinger's cat. So if you didn't know that, I didn't know that. I just learned that today. So yeah, his theory was more worked out. It's more mathematical, and Hugh Everett the third, his theory is more theoretical, that kind of thing. And so I find the whole thing just completely interesting. So if you didn't know this, in 2014, I came this close to dying. I had a fire in the apartment above mine, and if I had stayed there 10 more minutes, I would have died from smoke inhalation. So I got very lucky to get out. When I did, there was actually a man who ran down to from down the street. He was working on an AC unit at a convenience store up the street. He saw the fire, he saw the smoke, he got in his truck, he drove all the way down, he banged on every door. Turns out I was the only one in the building, me and Charlie, my dog, and he saved my life. I was able to get out in time. But I can't escape the thought that I may have died in another universe from that exact moment. So I recall it was like 4 p.m. ish. I was sitting in my recliner. I was watching television. Charlie was right by my side. I was really exhausted. And I thought, should I take a nap? Should I just go lay down, take a nap? Or should I just continue watching TV? Because the next day I had to work. And I knew if I took a nap, usually I run 2 hours nap wise. And if I did that, I was going to screw up my night's sleep and it would mess up my Monday. And I didn't want to do that. So in this universe, I decided I was going to watch TV. And look, we got someone. Let me add her to the stage. Hello.
I was going to ask if I was going to be sideways for this.
You're sideways. I kind of like it.
Of course, this is how I come in. Yeah, no, this is not. I was hoping it would let me do landscape, but it seems like it only wants me to do portrait, so I'll go back to that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was just telling the story about where I started thinking about all this weird theories about multiverse and all this stuff. And it's when I nearly died in a fire in 2014. And so I also recall a memory because I was telling everybody I was going to take a nap, but it was 4 p.m. It was Sunday. I worked the next day and I decided, no, I'm not going to do that because if I do that, I'm going to screw up my sleep. So I stayed up and watched TV. some guy came down, knocked on all the doors. He saw the fire, and he basically saved my life. Because if I stayed there 10 more minutes, I would have died from smoke inhalation. And I could smell the smoke, but I thought someone was barbecuing. I was like, it's Texas. They're barbecuing. It's no big deal. So, but I remember. So if you think about, like, there was a decision to be had. In one universe, I went and took a nap. In this universe, I stayed up. So I actually have a memory that splits into two different memories. One is hearing glass break because the window above my apartment was where the fire was at. And the window broke and I heard it while I was watching TV. So I go and look through my window and I can see glass on the floor. The other memory is me waking up to broken glass from a nap in my bedroom and hearing it and thinking my neighbors are arguing, and I just went back to sleep. I don't understand why I have that memory because I never took a nap. And so it started me on this road because I have all these weird changes from before that day and after that day. So before that day, I had like arthritis, like really bad rheumatoid arthritis. It was horrible. Like I had it since I was 20. I could, like, there were days where I couldn't really move, and it didn't matter if I was standing, sitting, laying down, it hurt. When it was on, it hurt me, man. It was immense pain. There were days it took me 15 minutes just to get out of bed in the morning because I was suffering from it. And it's weird because usually it happens in the wintertime. Like when the summer, I'm almost normal and it's kind of okay. As long as I move and don't let my joints get cold, I would be okay. But the day after this happened, this fire, I never experienced that anymore. It was gone. And I, to this day, have, since 2014, I have never had that experience anymore, which I cannot explain. And so I had
the arthritic pain.
Yeah, it's gone. And so I have a rheumatoid doctor that I see. So I went to go and talk to him about it. He said, well, let's do some x-rays. Let's check it out. Let's see what's going on. We did a lot of tests. And he says, well, I can't explain it. You know, it doesn't look like you have that, but we did find something else. And he said, you have something called ankylosing spondylitis, which you didn't have the last time we took x-rays. And you already have 2 vertebrae in your back fused together, which you didn't have. It's almost like it happened like that.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, it's okay. She,
yeah, Zelda.
She's welcome.
She's doing this thing where she's like, why are you on a podcast right now? And I'm like, please. She's not used to it. So close to her dinner, she's a princess and demands respect, and for me to apparently keep my eye on her the entire time. So she's not happy I'm looking at the phone.
Well,
going back to where you were though, with that.
What's that?
With like the arthritic pain disappearing.
Oh yeah.
The fact that you've never had that since.
Yeah, and so it's very strange because I'm like, I recall. I mean, it's something you don't forget. Here's something about pain, and maybe you would definitely know this. It's something about when you have something that hurts really, really bad. The minute it doesn't hurt anymore, you forget about it completely. Like it's not something you hold on to. You don't want to think about that. You don't want to feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually, when I was going through my recovery after my procedure, I suffered from like dissociation almost, just kind of because I was in constant pain for almost 3 years. The pain was it was almost like a reminder of like, oh, okay, I got to keep functioning. I got to try to figure out how to heal myself. What am I going to do next? Like, what's the next plan? What's the next doctor's appointment? And that pain was kind of a reminder, a force to like focus on myself. And when it stopped, I mean, it took a while for it to continue, like for it to actually stop. But when it did, I was having days where I was waking up and like splashing my face with water because I didn't even really feel. I'm curious to ask you if you felt that, like almost like do you believe like you maybe even had like an ego death or like some sort of experience where you, after a near death experience, where you almost feel like separated from your body and like almost where things don't feel real anymore, like because
Yeah,
you
so
got to that place and then you're beyond it and now you're like,
yeah, it's
I
like
don't
the
know
new
how to
normal.
describe it. Yeah.
If you think about like, so one thing I noticed right away, like the very next day I went to work and I noticed that the curbs on the street seemed taller, and I was like, what is this, you know? And then I
Mm.
would talk to people that I would look at like like eye to eye, was suddenly I was looking a little bit up to them, which I noticed also immediately. And when I went to go and see my doctor a couple of weeks later, he said that I had that fusion in my spine, which I have, you know, that's what that thing is. It basically, it's slowly fusing vertebrae in my spine, slowly. And I'm shorter than I was, totally different. Yeah, so that's the immediate was I'm shorter because now I have this and I don't have the other thing. And the one good thing about having ankylosing spondylitis is it doesn't hurt yet. Doesn't hurt, which I'm like, I'll take that. You know, I look
Mm.
a little weird when I walk. People ask me, "Are you okay?" I'm fine. I feel great. I can do whatever I want. It just I look a little weird, but who cares? You know what I
Power
mean?
through it. I mean, as long as you, hey, I mean, even if you need to have a walking aid at some point, like rock that thing. Like I got to a point where, you know, I went from a wheelchair to a walker and like a walker to like just being able to have like a walking stick around.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in it, you know. I think there's more like power actually in being able to like be like, you know what, screw whatever this is that's like trying to take me down. I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to keep
Yeah.
finding out a way to go if you can. And that's like, yeah.
Look at you now. You're doing the spinning the thing and you're twisting there. You know,
I
that's pretty
know.
amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. Doing flow arts was part of my life before I became ill. And I'm glad that it's something I get to return to doing. Um, it used to be like an ongoing joke with my doctors. My email address had the word dances in it when I was completely disabled, and they would look at me and be like, "It's really it's that," and I was like, "Yeah." They're like looking down at me, and I'm like, "I know, I used to dance, but now I can say that I do again." So it's
That's
yeah, I'm
wonderful.
very thankful for it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a miracle, man. I mean, to be from a wheelchair to this, that's great.
yeah, and
So
but
I want
like
to
kind
play
of like
this video.
you never know. Like I was gonna say, like with your future, like you got to kind of be prepared for anything, and also be aware that like, hey, I got a thing that's going to be causing me maybe some pain in the future, but blessed
Right.
to not be in pain now.
Exactly. And that's like going back to what I was saying. I do, if I think about it, I remember how painful that was, the arthritis. I remember what it felt like. I remember, you know, every step or every movement, man, was
Yeah.
painful. That sucked so much. And I remember once it went away, like during, I don't know, the summer or whatever, when it kind of was gone, like almost completely gone, I forgot that I had that until the next
Mm.
cold break or like rain. When it would rain, I would feel it. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't have that. I haven't had that since 2014. It's 12 years since I felt that. And I can't
That's
explain
incredible.
why. My doctor can't explain why. It's bizarre.
It makes, I mean, my analytical mind brings me to something maybe vascular because I actually was misdiagnosed with psoriatic arthritis at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out like what I am dealing with overall is something called APS. It's antiphospholipid syndrome, and it does all sorts of things to your body. But like surprisingly, there's a lot of things that are more on the small vasculitis side or the small vascular side than just rheumatological. There's been an uptick in that kind of situation happening to folks. So, but yeah, you were going to show us a video. What are we looking?
Oh yeah,
Excited
I'm
to
going
see.
to show a video. It's going to explain the many world interpretation, where it came from, and who expanded on it. Here we go. Bring it to the stage now.
From a physics point of view, parallel universes are one of those imaginative and compelling theories that's very difficult to test, if not impossible. However, the idea of many worlds began in 1926. One would take Everett seriously at the time, but now some physicists are considering the possibility of a multiverse. In fact, theories of cosmology, quantum physics, and the very philosophy of science have some problems that could be solved if a multiverse existed.
Yeah. Hugh Everett III. Can you imagine coming up with something and everyone thinks you're nuts, and it only develops after you're dead? That sucks, man.
Yeah, but I mean, look at Tesla. Nikola Tesla, same thing.
Yeah.
Everyone made fun of him while he was alive, and turned out he was right about most of his theories. So
369.
yeah, I mean, when I think about quantum realm and the idea that, especially like the split atom theory, I think that's one of the hardest ones for me to wrap my mind around. Like, it's almost like you're deciding to make something into existence. Like, consciousness is so tied into the quantum realm that it actually transfers to the physical realm in some way.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm really fascinated by the many worlds interpretation, and I think about this all the time. Now that I had that experience, I have seen moments where I've died in other universes, like very near misses, like, accidents. Like I somehow evade a very bad accident. I get away somehow, and I know in another world I did not make that. I did not survive that at all.
It's interesting you're saying it like that, because you're not the first person who's expressed that thought to me. Yeah. A lot of people that I've spoken to have expressed that kind of feeling or fear or some sort of like insight while driving. And I wonder if that's almost like, is it part of this string theory, or is it almost something like the egg theory, where, like, are you seeing the memory from your point of view or that other driver's point of view? Like, right. Are you also that driver? Is that why you're able to see that possibility in another space? Or that you think of it being connected to you personally? Is that maybe you and that person truly are connected, like in that one consciousness type of way?
Right. You know? Well, egg theory for sure is a one consciousness thing. It's just, I love egg theory. I used to think of this there's another theory I used to always think about. I don't know what it's called. I know it's out there now, but when I was a little younger, I would think about this all the time. Is everyone around me, or the people I know, and even by large, the people in the universe, am I the only soul on Earth, and I'm making all of this up in my own mind?
I didn't know that was a popularized theory, but I've questioned that. So
have you thought that too? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not alone with that.
There's also like a less like advanced version, I guess, where it's kind of like the idea that some people are just kind of like CP individuals, like like PCs. I'm dyslexic. So like more like, they're not real people, but like certain people have like roles, and then there's like kind of filler people. I've heard of that. But oh my gosh, the last time we were talking and you had brought up hybrid aliens and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about like timeline stuff and theories and in different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to see something the other day where they were talking about ghost DNA. Are you familiar with that?
Ghost DNA?
Yeah.
I've never heard of ghost DNA ever. What is that? Explain.
Okay. So it's the idea that so way back when, like there were like the Homo sapiens, and then there was like that's one group of people, and then there was another group of people, and that is like ancient, and we don't really have anything to determine as far as like our knowledge. It's just like unknown DNA, like that they actually got together about 300,000 years ago
Mhm.
and created like our generation of human beings.
Yeah.
But it's said that about 20% of DNA and like the average human being today actually can trace back to this like ghost DNA. They're not sure what it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know that. So I had not heard that theory. That's interesting. But I do remember hearing about the Anunnaki, and they say, I mean, of course, there's no way to prove this, right? Yet, until they come back and say, "Yep, it was us." But that they brought their people. They needed a mine for gold or something, something to do with some spiritual war. I'm not sure what, but they brought their own people to do the mining. That people got tired of doing this work. They didn't want to do it anymore. The Anunnaki, the lower class of the Anunnaki, were like, we quit. We're not doing it. So the leaders of the Anunnaki decided, okay, we're going to go ahead and let's take the primates that are here. Let's bring them in. We're going to splice our DNA, not a lot of our DNA, because they had abilities, right? They didn't want us to.
This is part of the ghost DNA theory, by the way.
Okay, that's part of it. Yeah.
Well, they didn't like initially like lead into that, but like they said something got introduced.
Yeah.
So
that's what I think. I mean, it could possibly be this, right? They spliced some of their DNA with ours, and out came modern man.
That's what they're saying. Like all of us are hybrids. And I'm actually wondering, they said except for people who were able to keep so like they're saying like, how humanity was born in Africa. So I'm wondering if people that have more African descent, they're saying that people that have, there's certain, everybody has a certain amount of like not Homo sapien, Neanderthal DNA.
Right.
Like through
we mixed with
23andMe, there's like a certain amount of Neanderthal.
Dennison also, we mixed with those guys. Yeah.
Exactly. But I guess on the Neanderthal side and not on, what are they called?
Dennison,
not on the Dennison side, on the Neanderthal side.
Okay.
It seems like that seems to be where the ghost DNA created modern man.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I love that stuff.
Pretty wild.
But how can we, that's what I was going to tell you. I was watching this, it was like a documentary or show. I think it was on Discovery. They were talking about this. And they were saying when they went through the genome and they're looking at all like the DNA, they found this strand. It was like there's a strand in there where there are like 4 different, it's like if you think of wires, think of it like this. There are 4 wires that were cut. And they don't know what those things did in the DNA. They're not sure what they are. But they were and it looks like it was purposely manipulated. And that's fascinating to me because if you think about, like, say the Bible, I'm not a very religious person, nor do I think the Bible is fact, right? But there were stories in there where they said, like Noah, for example, lived 900 years.
Yeah.
And then there's a theory when they talk about these Anunnaki, they didn't want us to live too long because they figured what will happen is they're going to rise up and take over. So apparently one of the things they did was cut that ability to live past 100.
Wow. Huh.
So that's why we have like a lifespan of 180 to 100 years.
At least our vessel does, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, our container. I'm still Yeah, like it's been in the news in the last few days just how much Robert Bigelow has been showing, hey, we are just containers. And
Yeah,
I think that he says that he has proof.
he has
Proof that
proof.
we are just, yeah, that actually, he said, sorry, that was a little dark, just that statement. He says he has proof that our souls exist outside the container, like they'll exist beyond bodily death.
Oh yeah, I believe that for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I've
But he
heard.
has proof, and I'm wondering how he got the proof. But
I would love to see that. I mean, that would be bigger than disclosure at this moment.
right?
The little stuff that they spit out every so often to keep us
Yeah,
occupied.
yeah. In some way or shape or
Yeah.
form.
But yeah, I remember hearing this from Bob Lazar. Shoot, the '80s. I think it was the '80s. There's a video where he's talking to this. I don't know if it's George Knapp or not, but someone's asking him about. So you came across this very large file that's top secret, and he's like, yes. Did you read it? Yes. What is it about? He says it basically is explaining religion, and it's talking about vessels. And I don't really believe in that. So I think Bob is kind of an atheist in a sense, and he was kind of disturbed by it, really. And so the guy kept pressing him. He's, I don't really want to talk about. And he kept pressing him. He kept pressing him. Okay, this file basically says that our bodies are vessels. They're containers. And he's like, of what? Of souls or spirits or whatever you want to call it. That's what they're here for. And the Greys are fascinated by it. They're fascinated. They don't understand why we have this, and they're trying to figure it out. And one of the theories is that religion was created to control the vessel and make sure that so I was like, whoa, I can see that.
I like that theory. I never heard that second part where, for me, it seems like if we were, just containers. I mean, if the truth of that were to ever get out, and that like you obviously reincarnate, but like you wouldn't remember, do you think it really changes the outcome? Like, do you think people would feel like relieved? Because there are so many people who believe at least that they go somewhere, like because of religion. Like they might be mad that they don't get to heaven, but I think if you reincarnate, you probably don't remember the life you had prior, except for the times where, I don't know if you see all the crazy videos where it's usually like kids that will start to express in detail their past lives, things like that.
Yep, and I love those videos. When I find them, I share them because they're fascinating.
Yeah.
Kids generally are the ones who start talking about their past lives. And at first I think, oh well, imaginative. They have these fantastic imaginations, and they're just coming up with this. But no, they come up with names, places, dates, all sorts of stuff. And I've seen a lot of video where there's a guy who just does nothing but studies children who talk about their past lives, and he puts them through these tests, especially if they're able to find who the person was before. Like, for example, there was this one kid who said he was an actor and a producer. He lived in LA. He gave his address, what car he drove, his daughter's name, what movie he was in. He was giving all these details, and his mom went and looked it up, and she found the person he was talking about. And sure enough, he was an actor. He lived in LA. Sure enough, he produced movies. He did this, he did that. He had a daughter. And so they found this.
Does that make you think of like genetic lines though? Like do you think that's almost like the existence of maybe a paradox? Like the fact that this one human being had a child, that this child's actually not maybe the spirit of her true child, but the spirit of somebody else that's reincarnated? Or like, you know what I mean? Because you know how like we look at ourselves and we're kind of maybe a mix of like what we understand to be our ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
And then imagine, okay, like you have yourself your own child, and like your child actually had a whole entire life, other life. I feel like that would almost be proof to you that like maybe you're a part of some sort of split. Like why, like I would be curious about like the parents of these children who have really deep connections with past lives or a parent reincarnation. Like, is there anything in those parents' lifelines that have connected them to that other real person to where it pulled them through? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I don't know. I think it's so strange because I think it's important to know where you come from. It's important to know your history, your lineage. It's important, but then you think about how if you're jumping, if your container expires and you go into the what I like to refer as the oh my god, I'm forgetting what it's called. But anyway, you go to this other place that you're there and you're learning about, did you learn all the lessons that you needed to learn? And then you get sent back. Does lineage matter? Because you're now in a whole other different lineage. I could be white in my next life or black or whatever, Asian. It doesn't matter. Would it matter?
Right.
That's what's strange to me. Or do you patch all the lives you've ever lived? And that is what's important. Those lives I don't know.
That's a fascinating detail because, and I haven't seen many. I wish I could say that I've seen more, but I've seen like even jokingly on some like reality TV shows where like one person gets a memory regression session done and they'll have like a past life regression, and in their past life, like they're a completely different, almost like a completely different person. Like this, they're of a different race. They're living in a different place. So if anything, to me, it's interesting the ones that seem to match. Like, for example, when you see like theories where it's like, oh, here's a true example of reincarnation. Like this person today looks the same as this person from 80 years ago. They have the same mannerisms, they have the same memories. And then it's like you have the people who have past lives and they can look at those past lives, but they're completely different individuals. I wonder what makes the individuals that reincarnate as their past lives different.
Yeah, I wish I had the answer to that.
Right?
I wonder if you like say in my past life or your past life even, did you have a similar personality where there's certain personality traits that you had there that you brought over to this one?
I'm wondering, when you said similar personality traits, it's almost like, what if we are, oh God, I'm bringing us back to the egg theory, but like the idea that like you have to do this, and this to get to where you are today. Like, oh, past me, like maybe didn't have my mannerisms now, but I had to go through some sort of trials and tribulations or something to pass whoever I was then to be who I am now, which is maybe, not at 100%, like, I haven't reached nirvana yet, as far as I know. And in the egg theory, it's kind of like you keep going until you are God, right? Is that like kind of the understanding? Okay.
So egg theory is so crazy because it's basically like once my life is done, I will go to a God and he will put me in another body. And that other body might be your life.
Right.
From when you were born. And then when you go through your life, you'll get reincarnated to your friend's life or whatever. And that's what it is. We have to live every single life that's ever been lived. There's 100 billion lives that have ever lived on Earth. And there's roughly 8 billion now. So I don't know. And of course, time is not the same that it is here in the other realm. So I don't know if it's all happening quick or if it's, but eventually once you lived every life that's ever been lived, because you're one consciousness, you evolve into a godlike whatever creature, whatever you want to call it.
I wonder if that equates to the end of reincarnation and the end of a physical human, like these scientists are saying, or some people are saying, like that they have proof that we exist, our container, right? That the soul exists, and there is some talk of reincarnation. But what of that point when you get to the space where, okay, no, you've reached the pinnacle, like you are now the spirit. Like, I wonder what that is like, because I've been told from many people that believe that there's something on the other side, that it's a place where like anything is possible and you actually can do more, create more. And I wonder if you only get to that once you've lived all the lives you can live.
I would love to see what that's all about. Hey, what's up, John Allen? What's going on, my friend? This is Lissa, by the way, the Quantum White Rabbit. She's amazing. We're having a wonderful conversation. I love talking to her. She's awesome. As a matter of fact, in less than 2 weeks, not next Thursday, but the following Thursday, David Don't Know is going to have her on the show, and it's going to be great. It was freaking awesome. I'm going to actually edit it this weekend. I really enjoyed that conversation we had the other night because
we had a lot of fun.
Man, it blew my freaking mind, man.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I mean, this is why we have to like connect. And it's funny that you found me just due to the name. And I love that you were happy immediately, because I remember when you requested to contact me and I was like, oh no, am I going to get a cease and desist? Like for my own name. I was like, did I make a mistake? No. Okay, we're good.
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, your name is what drew me to you. I saw it and I was like, hey, she's a rabbit. I guess I'm the rabbit hole. I'm down the rabbit hole. So I was like, this is perfect, man. Got to try it. Oh, so he's saying he's in Australia. It's 7:41 Saturday morning right now in Australia.
Oh my God.
He's in the future.
Oh my gosh. Good morning in Australia.
Good morning, John. Do you guys have Saturday night? You have Saturday morning cartoons in Australia? I don't know. He's not talking. I guess because
I was gonna say my TV dad. At least I call him my dad, Ross Colhart from Australia.
Oh,
the Australians.
Great accents. You guys have wonderful accents. I love them.
Really.
So, Lissa, I wanted to say there's a book that if you haven't read it, that I think you should. Especially if you want to talk about reincarnation, it's from a doctor named Michael. My God, it's called. Oh my God, Michael Newton. That's it.
Michael Newton. Okay.
Michael Newton, Dr. Michael Newton. It's called Journey of Souls, and he was a like a hypnotist, but like certified hypnotist. He was psychologist, and he started, he was like helping people like stop smoking and all this stuff. And one day he was like helping this lady, and he was helping her. So, okay, we'll go back to when you started smoking. And then he kept saying, we'll go back to, and then she went back before her life. Yeah. And she was talking about her past life, and he was like, whoa, what is this? Wait, what? And he's asking her all these questions, and then he realized that is so weird. He asked her if he could do it again, and they did, and they talked about another past life that she lived. She was a man, and she did this as a man, and it was just amazing. He was fascinated. He thought maybe it was a hiccup, right? Maybe it's something weird. He tried it on another patient, asking them, is it okay if we try this? We're going to go back, and we're going to go back. And that person started talking about their previous life. And he really developed this. It was pretty phenomenal because he taught other psychologists and hypnotists how to do it. And the book is amazing because he's not explaining, I did this, I did that. He's actually giving you what the patient is saying and what he is saying. So that's how you're reading it. It's almost scientific. You're reading
Sounds like a
excerpts.
case study. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that's what
And I love
really
reading those.
it was brilliant, man. So he refers. So this is what I forgot. I was going to say. He found someone who said he asked him, where do you go after you die, but before you come back? And they said that's
Ooh,
called the
beautiful.
source. And he said, the source. He goes, yes, it's called the source. That's what I refer to once we pass away and we go somewhere. The source, and this person explained the source like you would not believe. It was basically you go to this beautiful place where you're like met by everyone you've ever known in your other lives. You recognize everyone, you hug them, and it's like a place of complete and utter love. It's just beautiful. Everything is crystal, and you get to meet with your soul guides, and there are people that they don't judge you and they're not punishing you, but they're asking you about your life. Like, you were supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Did you do it? What did you think happened? Why didn't you do it? And if you didn't like get to a level, because there's different levels, everyone has like a soul color, and different colors are higher on the level and other colors are lower. So you can automatically see if you did good or not, right? And if you didn't and you need to do it again, they send you back in a different life, and you get to choose that life. You get to go to this place where they show you different lives and how it all works out in those lives and what you need to do in order to grow. This book is amazing.
That sounds
It helped
and
me.
intense. And I need that book.
Yeah, check it out. I'll tell you what, I was an atheist. When I grew up, I was a very devout Catholic, very devout, and then I read the
And that's
Bible.
why you became an atheist.
I read the Bible from cover to cover. It really,
Yeah, you were forced to though.
it shocked me because they never talked about that stuff in church. All of it,
Right.
they don't talk about certain things, and so it bothered me. I read this book and it brought me away from atheism. Now I'm kind of like in the middle. I'm like an agnostic. I used to not believe in a soul. I didn't think souls were real. I just, it didn't seem logical. But now, reading this book and realizing what these people are talking about, awesome.
And the fact that energy cannot be created or destroyed. You said it, I think the last time we were talking, like our force field. Like humans actually have an electromagnetic field around them. We have our own electromagnetism and our own fields and our own aura, right? Yeah, and so like our thoughts, like you can read brainwaves, for example, and your thoughts have certain frequencies, right? And what does that all tell you? It's like it's energy, right? So if we are energy, we cannot necessarily be created or destroyed. So of course, that soul must go somewhere.
Yes.
And it's honestly, I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. The other day I was listening to Robert Bigelow speak, and it was almost like he was talking about dark matter being essentially that energy. Like that dark matter could potentially be the energy that is expelled from souls.
Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty amazing. Yeah, I've heard a lot about dark energy lately, but it takes up like a large portion of the universe, right? This dark energy, dark matter. Hey, Nicole.
Hey. I know he was talking about it being like almost like a closed universe.
Yeah.
And then outside of our visible universe, outside of the billions of light years that we can see, that around that's all but dark matter.
Man. We didn't,
it makes sense for us to be all the way out there, maybe.
Right. I think we're going to have to talk about that whole thing, the whole universe, dark matter. That's going to be a whole freaking episode because that thing is just, it's deep, man. It is a lot.
It can be, yeah.
But I'm going to play another video real quick just to show everybody who's just joining us what we're talking about. It's a different video, but it's basically the same thing what we're talking about. Here it goes.
Possibility that you are already dead, and what you're experiencing is just the version where you survived. This idea comes from quantum mechanics. The many worlds interpretation suggests that every moment creates countless branching realities. Every decision, every random event, each one splits into different outcomes happening at the same time. That means in one branch, you go left, in another, you go right, and every possibility exists simultaneously. But here's where it gets unsettling. A thought experiment called quantum immortality suggests that your consciousness might always continue in the branch where you survive. So every time you face something potentially fatal, an accident, an illness, or another life-threatening event, you would only ever experience the version of reality in which you lived, while in countless other branches, you didn't. To everyone else in those branches, you died. But from your own perspective, you never experience your own death. Over time, this would mean you keep surviving situations that seem impossible, moving into increasingly different versions of reality. Your loved ones may die in your reality, but in their own branches, their consciousness continues too. Whether this is true remains purely speculative. It's a philosophical idea built on one interpretation of quantum mechanics, not an established scientific fact.
Wow. What do you think about that? Oh, you're muted, I think. Let me unmute you. There you go.
Sorry about that.
That's
I
okay.
mean, it's kind of a terrifying idea. But interesting. How does it hit you?
You know what I think about this is, and I've been thinking about this for years, ever since 2014 when that whole thing happened. I
Yeah.
didn't know how to explain it. I didn't understand what was happening to me and all this stuff. And one of my theories is that if this is real, like let's say, for example, this is an actual thing, that then every second that you've been alive, you've actually died in a different universe. So like from birth all the way up to whatever your end year is going to be, you've actually, like, this second something happened to me right now, I'm gone, but I continue on in a different universe.
I feel like, okay, in the many worlds theory, like that, I feel like that would take up too much energy.
Yeah.
Like in the universe, actually, I think it would take up too much energy in the universe for every version of one single person to have that many different pathways. Have you heard of the theory that like time folds?
Yes.
And so I'm talking about it in the sense where, okay, like right now we have the present, and we also, you have the past and you have the future.
Mhm.
But we have the idea that time folds, and it actually is like a running pathway of like, here you are, you've got like past, present, future,
Mhm.
and then you've got below future, present, past running over each other in two different directions simultaneously. I think because we likely already created time travel at some point. Although I do believe in like multiple universes, I like that we could be potentially quantum entangled to. I don't know that it's necessarily you, or like that it's like copies of the same universe with like tiny differences, because then it's like there's just too many possibilities for every single human life, and that's expelling so much energy, when I think in reality it's probably like two pathways where you have a band of time or a concept of time.
Right. Yeah. I
Which is
mean,
just a positioning. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's a good theory. But if you think about, like, for example, the point that I'm at in my life right now is that I'm now a podcast host and a social media person. Never in my life did I think I would get here. How did I get here? What
Right.
choices did I make to get me to this point. I know that I never dreamed of doing this. This is not something I thought about doing. I didn't prepare myself for this kind of thing. How did I get here? So I think that there has to be some sort of multiverse thing where I'm actually not doing this. I'm still a IT manager fixing people. You know what I mean? There's still a life where I'm doing that.
I can relate to that. I can relate to that feeling, but I feel like it's also like just the ontological shock to yourself. That's like, I think anyone who's ever been through a near-death experience can also relate to what you're going through, because I literally refer to who I was like less than, it's been a little over 2 years now. Who I was, that was a different person.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. That's not me. I don't know who that is. But the truth is, you can realistically look at that and be like, yes, that was me.
Yeah.
But life was different then. Life started over. It started a new chapter now. And I know it can feel, I think it's just that meeting that wall doesn't necessarily happen for everyone at a growing part in their life. Which is good, because we don't want people to experience near death all the time, right? But I think you also experience, I think there's one positive side to it where I think you actually experience what I refer to as an ego death. So I actually think, like, more so psychologically, like you had that ego death, man. And you were like, of course you can't believe what you're doing today. You probably didn't even think you would be alive today.
Yeah, I
feel the same way.
For sure. Almost 2 years ago, coming up December, it will be 2 years, I had that heart attack I was talking about. I should not have survived it. There's no way I should have survived that heart attack. I should have died. As a matter of fact, I think I did. I think I did die. Because no one has a heart attack and then doesn't realize they're having it and goes on with their life for 3 straight days. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh gosh. You know what you've got me thinking about right now? That we're both in Beetlejuice world. Like that we both died now. And that this is just
this is cool that we met, though. I'm really happy that we met. This is really, to me, this is awesome.
Maybe that's why we were kept alive. Who knows? Like,
maybe.
And maybe there are hands at play here, like pulling strings. Who knows?
Right. And I was thinking, like, it's funny. Everything we've talked about kind of goes on itself. Like every single thing we've been talking about could match this whole multi-world theory.
Yeah.
The reincarnation, the souls, what if not everyone is a real person? What if they're NPCs, and that's why they don't have their own consciousness or what have you, where they mix into the many world theory? That would be something. I don't know about that, but
oh my gosh, you just scared me, because like the idea that we've put AI in very humanistic looking robots already. Like, what if they do start to have their own sort of consciousness? And that's a wild idea.
It's crazy, man. Listen, we're at a point in this life that there could be multiple apocalypse happening. There's an asteroid on its way. It's going to pass by us, between us and the moon. Mm-hmm. That's what they're saying, and I think it's November where this happens. And what if it's not going to pass? What if it's going to hit us? They're just not telling us that. That's one apocalypse. There's an AI possible apocalypse where they decide that they're going to match up with the robots and become one and sentient, and decide that we're not really worthy. We're destroying the earth that they live on.
Mm-hmm. We've got El Nino, that storm that's coming our way, and
it's logical to go ahead and get rid of our makers because they're screwing everything up. What about all these earthquakes that are happening? Have you heard about all these earthquakes? They're just one after the other, after the other, after the other.
Yeah, they're a little sketchy, huh?
Like some sort of weather. I don't know.
I don't know if you caught there are some earthquakes that happened a while back now at Area 51. They were not earthquakes. You remember that?
Yes.
They destroyed a bunch of evidence. They were all these earthquakes that happened to be the same. It was like the same volume of damage that each one did, but it was like 14 to 17 or something that happened within a time period, all in one area. So
that's nuts. What the hell, man?
I don't think those were earthquakes. It was all underground.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I wonder,
so you wouldn't even see it get destroyed.
I wonder if some aliens got out. They've been in captivity all this time.
Ugh.
That would be something. That's another thing. What about an alien apocalypse? What if they decide, hey, what if that whole Project Bluebeam?
Oh, that was a psyop.
It's a psyop for sure.
Yeah.
But they do have the what is it? The technology, what is that stuff called?
DEWs, direct energy weapons.
Well, they definitely have that.
Yeah.
But there's this holographic technology that is so good that they can produce a person in the sky and you would actually believe. As a matter of fact, there have been people in the sky lately. I've been posting this on Down the Rabbit Hole where it's like this weird thing up there. It looks like a person just floating in the air. And you're like, what the hell is this? It could be that technology testing it.
Wow. That's wild.
Well, Alyssa, I promised you we would do an hour. It's an hour now. So we're going to go ahead and cut it down. That's the end of the show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Alyssa, thank you for joining me, the Quantum White Rabbit. Please follow her on Instagram. You have any other things that you want to plug in here?
I know I will soon. If you live in the New England area, anywhere on the beautiful East Coast, we will be having a symposium in October. So I would love to have you come down if you ever travel.
Oh
so,
man, yeah. I want to go back for sure. I loved it up there.
Well, we got a guest room here if you ever need a place to stay. So.
Yay! Okay, sold. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next Friday, 4:00 Central, 5:00 Eastern. Goodbye.
Take care.
Later, guys.